Hi, and welcome to my garden. I'm Mimi. Look at these beautiful caladiums. Today I'm going to discuss caladiums and how to plant a caladium tuber in a pot. I would like to thank Classic Caladiums of Avon Park, Florida for sending tubers to me to use in this episode and to plant this year. I am a big fan of caladiums, and they remind me of many happy times that I had with family in Florida. Do you know the place that grows more caladiums worldwide than any other? Florida. Florida has perfect conditions for growing caladiums. These caladiums that are framing me are from a local garden center. If I had planted my caladium bulbs after danger of frost had passed, then I'd have caladiums now in the first week of July. Those caladiums on my porch were grown in 2022. This year I'm going to be planting caladiums in combination with other plants. I had a curveball thrown at me on June 14th when a storm came through and knocked over a fig tree that I had along the side of my house. I had a shady spot for caladiums, and now I have a sunny spot. I had helping hands to help me take away the branches and dig out the stump. That was hard work. And then I worked very quickly to do a budget-friendly makeover. In that spot, I planted sunfern, coneflower, New Guinea impatiens, portulaca, and cosmos. And in between all of that, I put in caladiums. I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to turn out. Some of the caladiums like sun more than others. I also was able to find and make a bird bath. Let's take a little walk over to my new sunny spot. Let's talk about planting a caladium tuber. This is the top, and the growing points are here. The bottom is flatter. In your pot, place potting soil that drains well. Mix in some bone meal or plant tone, which is formulated for bulbs and helps roots get growing. Plant your tuber and cover with 1.5 to 2 inches of soil. A good idea would be to add some organic mulch. Mulch will keep water from evaporating from your pot. And another thing that would be good is covering your pot with some sort of netting. I have a problem with squirrels that want to dig every day in pots, and netting has helped to keep the tubers in the pot. How not to kill your caladium plants. Caladiums need to be watered, but they don't like to be overwatered. They don't like wet feet. The roots will rot. They are originally from the Amazon River basin, so they are tropical plants, and they do need moisture, and they like shade. These days, hybridizers have developed caladiums that can withstand the sun. How do you know if your pot needs water? You can pick it up a little bit. It'll feel heavy if it doesn't need water, or you can tilt it. But I would check my container plants regularly. Also, sometimes leaves will droop when they need water. And if you're having a hot spell, you might have to water every day. How to make caladium growing budget friendly. One way would be to try to save your tubers. You can lift them or take them out of the pots. I've read that you can dry the plant out, and if the tuber is dry, you can save them for the following year. That's worth doing if you want to save money. Otherwise, if you're living in a climate that has freezing temperatures, caladiums will be considered an annual. How can container gardening be budget friendly? Your pots are an investment because you can use them for years. This is a new pot, but some of my pots I've had for a decade. You don't have to put new potting soil in your pots every single year. You can revive your soil, dump out the soil onto a tarp, and you can mix it with new potting soil and compost. Soil can last more than one season. Another way to be budget friendly is by buying annuals and dividing them. This was $6.98. So for about $7, there are 5 plants in this container. And I can separate them out and plant them in larger planters or individual planters. That's what I did with this one. In this planter, I have planted white-cap caladiums and lobelia. I have the netting over it, held by landscape pins. And so far it's helping squirrels from digging in this pot. In this extra large planter, I have planted a combination of annuals with 2 or 3 white star caladiums. I have Persian shield, and it's going to grow tall. I'm going to say this might be the thriller. I also have white impatience. They can be a filler. And these asparagus ferns, they might be a filler. I'm not sure if they're going to grow up or out and over, but I think this is going to be interesting. Here I have a thriller, and this one's going to be a spiller. And in here I have placed rose glow. I like my pots to look very full, and I hope it will look full. Everything should grow bigger. I like that look, like these planters. I have a feeling that they loaded these planters with many more tubers than you would normally plant. They're showstoppers. Some of the other plants that I'm using in combination with my caladiums are vinca and creeping jenny. This can be a spiller, and this can be a filler. The caladium probably would be the thriller. This is a beautiful brochure. Here's an example of planting your landscape with the appropriate number of tubers. Per every square foot, you would use 1 jumbo bulb, 2 number 1 bulbs, or 4 number 2 bulbs to achieve the fullness that you need. Gorgeous. This is the perfect time to mention that the creative community of Lake Placid, Florida will be having their annual Caladium Festival on July 26th, 27th, and 28th of 2024 at Stewart Park. They will have caladium vendors, food trucks, a car show, a bike show, arts and crafts booths, a caladium floral competition, bus tours, train rides, and I'm sure much more. If you go, Have a wonderful time. I will link Classic Caladium's website and also the Caladium Festival information below. Thank you for watching my episode, and I hope that you got some valuable information about caladiums and that you'll tune back in when I make a video showing the results of my plant projects. In the meanwhile, have a wonderful summer. And thanks for joining me in my garden. Wasn't that opening scene of caladiums beautiful? How can I tell the top of a caladium if it's not marked? Let's look at this bulb. It's actually a tuber. In this, I also have white impatiens, and I planted this on June 26th. I did not grow these caladiums